Thank you.
You've got tips, though, that might be able to help us, because when you first look at the garage, like the before pic, that's overwhelming.
Yeah.
That will make your blood pressure go through the roof.
We can all relate, though.
Yeah, we can all relate. So you used a few things to help you organize.
Well, the biggest thing was obviously getting things off the floor so we could use the garage for what it's intended for, and that's cars,
Right.
because that wasn't an option in the before.
Yeah.
So being able to utilize the vertical space, we used some Gladiator wall cabinets and the Gladiator slat wall, which we've actually brought in behind, and you can see just how modular and how amazing it is that you can get so many things. Like, this is just a fraction of what you could get on there, because it's so multi-purpose that you can add hooks for what you want and what you need. And then the storage cabinets, getting them up high and out of the way to stash all of those things that maybe you don't need every day, just to get them out of the way.
So good, and I love that every single thing has its own home.
That's the thing. Well, if you remember, we talked last week on the show about me owning duplicates, and I own 9 hammers because I found 9 hammers when I got rid of all the stuff in the garage. So now I only need 1, and I always know where it is.
It has its own home.
Exactly.
Right? Well, to help you start organizing your workspace, you're all taking home a Gladiator gear track pack. That you use because you do a lot of painting, spray painting projects.
Yeah, I think Sharon can probably relate to this. Like the garage is kind of the catch-all for a lot of my paint projects, just because sometimes you want to be cognizant of having good ventilation. But the one thing, now that my garage is so pretty, I don't want to get paint everywhere. So it's keeping it under control. So I found a couple of really simple DIY gadgets, which are really everyday items that have worked great for me. And the first of which is a wardrobe.
Okay.
So this is one of the closed wardrobes. Now, follow me here. With this, if I open it up, I use this in my garage. It folds away really easily. But for hanging items like light fixtures, now I can spray into this and do a little spin without having it sit on the ground and take up paint.
That is so smart. Okay, what's this?
Ready for this? So, once in my life ever, I got a spray tan. And I have to say, it was fantastic. It got rid of the pasty wet and far overdue. But the only thing I could think of standing there, you know, when you're awkwardly nude in front of someone getting spray tan, was, man, I really need one of these tents. Because the spray tan tents, because it was a catch-all for all the overspray. So I hopped online and found on Amazon spray tan booths and also portable pop-up toilet enclosures for camping. It collapses pretty quickly too. So just make sure, because it is an open bottom, that you put down a drop cloth. But this is perfect for like dining room chairs, bigger items that you can stuff in here. What I love about this, if you're painting in the backyard, you can give it a quick spray. There's ventilation holes. Zip it back up and walk away so that you don't have leaves and grass drop on it while it's drying in there. Winning!
Oh my gosh. Winning! You know what else I like about it? Tell me. If it's March break and the kids are getting on your nerves, get in. Get in. Get in. Get in. You can't see us! Get in there, Daddy. We're gone. Get a book and a coffee and you're good.
Multi-purpose.
So I love the way you think. I love that you've been using these things, and we're all going to use that. I know we're going to see it on Twitter now. Tweet us if you're using this for your projects. You also have ways that you organize just to keep things a little bit sane when you're doing your projects. You've always got a DIY project on the go. This is simple but so effective.
Well, just like Leigh-Ann said, getting things off the ground is so key. So I can't stand when I have like a million little screw containers that are on a shelf and I'm knocking them over. So this just gets them out of sight. You would attach the lid to the underside of your shelf, and that way this gets it off, and you're not. And then you can see everything. It's visible, because the #1 rule with a workshop is that everything needs to be visible and at the ready. So just like this, easy access.
Don't throw your screws in the bottom of the toolbox, because you'll never find them again, and then you just keep buying more and more and more. This is perfect.
It's like everything else. If you can't see it and it's not organized, you're not going to do it. That's why we eat unhealthily, right? See? You can't even see the leftovers you're supposed to be eating because the containers aren't clear, and then we go and eat a pizza. So this applies to everything in your life. Okay, Sharon and I are going to go and see her big organizational tip. Come on over here. here, you're all about having the paint organized.
It's, you know what, I mean, I probably have more paint than the average person in my basement. I think Leigh-Ann and I probably top it. But first of all, these are really amazing cabinets, so I would love to have one of these at home. But same thing, it's the same thing, getting everything off the floor. And what happens a lot is you've got your paint cans piled up on the floor. You can't find what color when you have to go do a touch-up. So it is really smart to keep them, absolutely. If you have shelving in your garage that you can store them on, even better. Try and organize them by size, certainly, like weight. But one thing I find is if you're messy, like we are here at Cityline, you can actually see the color, which is really helpful. So you can see that face on. But sometimes you can't. Like sometimes you won't be able to get access to that. You only see the top. So if you didn't already do it, put a label on the top. Put the color name, use your finger, put a little swatch of the color and write, you know, Tracy's room, urban nature. And then you know, and that is something that really, like, go to Staples, you can pick up these really nice little labels. You don't I've seen people online that type them and print them and all that stuff. Just write them down quickly and then you might actually do it, okay? But you want to at least remember, and if you can, put the date and the year. You don't have to put the exact date, but put March 2017 so that you know in 10 years, it might not still be good.
Well, I was going to ask you that. How long do you have with your paint?
You know what? We used to say up to 10 years, but with the water-based paints now with 0 and low VOCs, they won't last as long. So I would say a good 2 years for sure, but it's about sealing, and it's a good segue, Tracy, because I want to say when you have a big can and you leave it in there, there's lots of air, even if you seal it really well. So I always like to put them in mason jars, because you always have mason jars from your spaghetti sauce. Write on it what it's for, what the color is, and then again, use those labels and put the color on top so you can actually see it.
I like that idea.
Yeah, so there you go. Clear and clear bins. If you're going to put anything in there, make it clear so you see all those rollers.
Very nice. Okay, all amazing tips.